And in most cases, we don't have a spiritual guide that knows about these things. And part of that spiritual crisis is realizing that all those spiritual guides out there that we thought were ever so wise, we find out, no, they most probably aren't so wise. They are most probably have not gone so deep in the contemplative life as we have. And we may begin to realize that that the translation of our spiritual doctrine, like the Bible and the Pali Canon and the Vedas, might have been incorrectly translated and incorrectly interpreted. Well, and that to me is another shade of the spiritual crisis. We have to penetrate very deeply into everything, and we begin to realize that there are very, very few people out there who understand what we are going through. And then you suddenly realize all those priests, all those gurus are just pretending. And that can be quite a spiritual crisis as well, my friends. You may find that you're alone out there, except there is, in fact, a community of mystics who are out there. There's hundreds of them, because I've received emails from hundreds of people who are having these experiences, but not one of them is empowered or recognized as a spiritual teacher. What does that say to you, friend? Yeah, it can be a spiritual crisis, realizing that most everything written in a spiritual context or contemplative context is nonsense, friends, nonsense. That, too, can be quite a spiritual crisis. Oh, yes, and on with the spiritual crisis. Oftentimes, these spiritual crises happen at meditation retreats, and particularly Theravadan or Vipassana meditation retreats, because those retreats tend to be, let's say, among the most intense meditation retreats, in which they're meditating for about an hour at a time, and it goes on for, let's say, 10 days. And typically, people start having more and more intense spiritual crises as the retreat progresses, and perhaps by the 5th or 6th day, there's a profound weeping, and it may be a completely uncontrolled weeping, and there might even be some wailing, and some difficulty in sleeping. And one might go to one spiritual teacher who's leading that retreat, and that person might be the world-famous, well-published author who's supposed to know everything there is about the spiritual journey, and you tell this person about what you're experiencing, and he concludes that you've gone crazy, and you're asked to leave the retreat in the middle. Or they might even call an ambulance and have you taken away, and then you become heavily medicated and sent it off. Well, to me, that's certainly not the earmark of a meditation master, because clearly this person doesn't know about the spiritual crisis, and the spiritual crisis is indispensable. You must go through it if you're going to traverse to deeper levels of absorption. It has to be done. So, friends, that is a short discourse on the spiritual crisis. And do be kind to yourselves. Thank you.